All right, welcome everyone. Today is Wednesday, September 17th, and this is a meeting of the Senior Center Site Selection and Building Committee. This meeting will be held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and or participation via Zoom is being provided as a courtesy to the public, meeting or hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast, unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with a particular interest in a specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may access the proceedings by joining Zoom meeting ID number 375-414-6055 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Carly Antonelli, Assistant Town Manager at atm@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 100 prior to the meeting. So, all right, I call us to order at 6:03 p.m. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Right.
I see Robert's on there. Is it possible to amend the agenda to add a report by Dan on the electricity and meter stuff?
Yeah, we can do that.
I don't know if you can add to it at the last minute or not.
But I mean, that's what we're calling for right now. Why don't we do that right after the minutes? Yeah. Okay. All right, can I get a motion to approve the amended agenda, please?
I know.
And since we are split across the committee, we'll do a roll call vote. Dennis?
Aye.
Linda? Aye. Ken?
Aye.
Bonnie? Aye. Ellen?
Aye.
Katie says aye. Dan?
Aye.
All right, wonderful.
Is Dave there? I thought I saw Dave. But I had no.
Yeah. All right, so that brings us to the approval of the minutes. Everybody's had a couple of meetings now to look at the minutes from May 15th. I thought we still had the June ones outstanding, but I see that they're approved on the website. So it's May 15th, July 17th, August 9th are the ones that have been distributed that we need to approve tonight. Did anybody have questions, edits?
I have a couple small edits on May 15th, and this thing is amazing. This was so intense, how long this was, Dennis, so thank you, but on the third page, there's a thing about the emergency stairs area of refuge.
Mm-hmm.
And it says area of refuge on the third floor. Is it quiet? It's the second floor.
Okay.
And Catlin elaborates on one of the other later minutes that he actually makes it bigger, so it'll accommodate wheelchairs, than another set of minutes. This one is the second floor. And then later in the same paragraph, it says, it will be a 2-hour rated smoke detective. There, this is smoke rated, it's, fire rated stairs, right, it's basically. It says smoke detective.
Yeah, I see it.
But it should really say it will be a 2-hour fire rated stair enclosure.
Okey-dokey. Any other?
And the last one, which was a little confusing to me, kitchen design at the bottom of the page. I think we talked about this, but the kitchen is set up for a dishwasher downstairs and a stove and oven upstairs under the hood. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know, I think it.
Downstairs and upstairs. Excuse me.
I guess they're set up for a dishwasher, stove and oven or whatever, that's saying upstairs or under.
Yeah.
Probably under.
The kitchen's on the first
Yeah, I
floor,
just-
so
I'm gonna take out the whole sentence.
kitchen is set up.
Can't hurt, maybe.
Yeah, just I'd say, my recommendation is delete that sentence.
Okay.
I guess that's the only stuff that I found that seemed, the wording didn't sound right to me.
Well, can we move to approve those minutes as amended?
Yeah,
That's May 15th. Yeah,
Yeah, May 15th as amended, 17th and the 9th posted then.
okay, did any other changes, to the July or August ones?
oh.
We have to vote on
Don't you want to
that?
be one at a time?
Sure, that's fine. Can someone make a motion to approve the May 15th minutes as amended?
I do.
Second.
Okay. Dennis?
Aye.
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 Aye. Al, aye.
Aye. Dan, Dan?
Aye.
There says aye. Okay. All right, moving on to July 17th.
The only, I had one tiny thing. It's the second to the last page at the very bottom, it's under the schedule permitting update. It says, Dan B briefly stated that the Blazing Staff Road survey is ongoing, which is right. Then it says the electric pump costs for utilities are still variable. I think it just should mean the electric site costs maybe,
So, yeah.
okay, rather than the word pump.
Was it a pad?
No, it just says the electric pump costs, I didn't understand.
I think we were talking about the pad, the electric company was thinking about putting a pad for a transformer in, wasn't that what we were talking about?
Pad instead of pump.
Pad instead of pump.
That's pretty easy.
It's been so long.
I know.
It's exactly what we talked about. All right, okay,
I just thought it was site costs. but-
yeah. Yeah, like us, yeah.
Yeah, I'd go with site.
So, I move we accept the 7:17 minutes as amended. Second.
Aye.
Linda? Aye. And
Aye.
Bonnie?
Aye.
Ellen?
Aye.
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
There says aye. All right, approved. Thank you, guys. All right, now August 7th.
No.
Thanks.
August 9th. August 9th.
Oh, yes, sorry, can't read my own handwriting. Any edits or feedback to those?
No, me. Good,
Sure.
yeah, I just added.
Okay, our. Oh. Um. Okay, August 7th is what's posted on the agenda, on the town's website. The thing that we need to amend is the date on the minutes.
It should be
Okay.
amended to, was it still a Thursday, August 7th, or was it a Wednesday?
I don't know, I'd have to look back. August 7th was a Thursday.
Okay, thanks.
Can you guys still hear me? I see our screen is frozen, but can you still hear okay?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Katie. Oh. Hear me?
So, we can change to accept that as amended.
Yeah, were there any other edits besides the date? It's,
Total project amount, we said, what it was.
well, there's the 60,000 in ARPA.
So it would technically be 300 and. But given the date, I'm not sure what we actually had spent at that.
That there should be an appropriate. Again, I don't have it in front of me, but there should be an appropriate budget update document that would correspond to that, so it just says 300 even.
No, it says Katie reports 377 in grant money, but I think it's 377 in project money.
Well, it would be, so it would be the housing choice grant, the ARPA grant, and then
Leftover you there.
leftover UDAG, but we haven't spent any of that.
Okay.
So,
So it is
the-
grants.
so it should technically either say
360.
360 in grant money, or it should say 377 in project money.
Go for the 360 grant money. You know for sure we spent it.
Okay. And I would just have to go back and look at the closest budget update to that date.
So,
What the actual vote.
can we vote to approve as amended?
Second.
All right, Dennis?
Aye.
Hi. And
Aye.
Lana,
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Fine. All right, thank you everyone for getting us at least a little bit caught up on that. There is an April 24th set of minutes that's outstanding. I feel like we approved that.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Clerk, could you just see if you have an version of that somewhere around that can be submitted? And then we are, we still have, including tonight's meeting, we still have 5 more sets of minutes that we are behind. If someone is open to working on those, I'm happy to send the summary and the recording over to base that off of.
There you go.
What, are they earlier than?
They're
No, they're
Than May?
August.
June, July, August, and our 2 for September.
June, July.
There was a, excuse me, it was a June 5th up on the email you sent us.
Yeah, I did, and then I realized, we must have approved that set because they're,
That's already
signed
been
and
posted.
set.
We did approve one set last,
Yeah,
Yeah,
June
at the
5th.
last meeting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Was
so
that the
So that must
June?
have been-
The June.
Yeah,
That's done.
so it's
Okay,
6/16, 7/24, 8/25. 9/15, there won't be anything for that, and then 9/17.
We've heard minutes of the meetings we went before
Are
finance.
these,
capital.
the
Those
are the YouTube videos all posted on there? You know?
They, the town's policy is that those get posted after minutes have been posted. So the video should not be available on YouTube unless, and town manager's here, he might speak to that, but it used to be that those videos got linked up on the town's website on that agenda and minutes page, once the minutes were approved, but not before then. It doesn't mean they don't exist, maybe they just exist on APAC's website, that's
Yes.
possible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the schedule for
Yeah.
APAC posting is, we don't know. So that's,
So as soon as the Zoom recording comes back to me, I forward it to APAC for posting. But the town does not post it on the agenda and minutes page for our committee until minutes have been
right. Well, I'm
submitted.
accessing these through APAC all the time.
Okay, all right, so then they are posted, they're just not on the town website.
So there's no way for us to know definitively APAC will post within 3 days of the meeting or anything like that. They post when.
Oh, yeah, that I don't know. I've not noticed any significant delays in them posting anything. I think the only work that they have to do is that they trim off the beginning and the end, like before the meeting starts and after it ends, if there's any additional recording, but I don't think it's. So,
Well, I will plug away on a few of these, but if folks want to volunteer on
I'll try September. Yeah,
September 17th,
yeah, 7, the 15th and the 17th,
Okay,
and then I was gonna volunteer for October.
Oh, that's
But
right.
that
Okay.
was what I agreed to last meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Bonnie. All right, okay, so, do you wanna work on June 16th and July 24th, and I'll do August 25th? All right, we will get ourselves caught up then, all right. Anything else on the minutes before we move on? Okay, so, Dan. That brings us to your amended section of the agenda. Are there any updates from National Grid or from the Blazing Star Survey?
Yeah, you can hear me good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, of course. Ken added me in because there are some updates. Yeah, so let's start with natural heritage. And the plant survey was conducted September 12th by Goddard, and they were actually out there with natural heritage rep. And they did not find any plants on the site or along the roadway corridor where we're working. So good news. They found a handful behind the cemetery, nowhere we're working, so we're all set. So they actually were some out here apparently, but not where we are working, so we're good. So we got some good news there. That's the latest with that, and so there'll be a report put together by Goddard. Probably in another week he'll have that, and that'll be sent in to Natural Heritage.
Madam Chair, if I might, Dan, can I ask, does the absence of the blazing star save us any money, or is it a wash?
It saved us probably more of a headache. So if there were plants, the way to mitigate is to either transplant them typically to move them,
Right.
or to adjust our design. So it's really probably more of a headache than not so much a monetary factor, unless they were all over the place, then there could have been a problem. But we expected if there were any, they might have been along the road.
But we
Um,
hadn't allocated, we haven't up till now allocated funds for further investigation of the blazing star or mitigation measures.
No, no, we're all set. We had approved the funds to do what we've done through this work. So
Yeah.
we're good. Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
yeah. And you still, I'm sure you can still hear me. The second item, electric. So I've been working.
It came up after.
Oh, hang on just a second. We lost audio, so Dan was speaking at the same time.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Dan, say that again?
You hear me good?
No, we can't.
Move on for.
Sorry.
Trying to hear Dan.
It was better for like 3 meetings.
Well, you moved the table 3 feet this way, so that's what happened.
Oh, it's, okay. Now it just keeps going offline.
I hear you guys fine. You don't hear me?
Oh, okay, now you're back on, all right.
Oh, yeah, I see you again. Good?
Yes.
All right.
I'm on first.
Let
So,
him go.
well, it seems, if I remember correctly, the question of the blazing star coming down the roadway was after we worked on the site. They brought that up as a separate question. So I think it's a big deal. We found out it wasn't on the edge of the roadway impacting the water design or the water installation, water line installation.
Right. Yeah, that's a good, yeah, Ken, because if we were doing open excavation down the entire corridor, there could have been, conflicts there. We might have had to adjust, do horizontal directional drilling or some other way to mitigate around it. But we're lucky we didn't find it anywhere, so.
Me calling on his phone?
Okay. He just said sorry, we're still dealing with the AV here. All right, so he said it was lucky we didn't get it. We didn't find it there.
Okay.
Can someone just check the connection there? Cause see, I can see the eyeball lights went off.
I mean,
It's on the bottom.
it seems like it's,
See,
once that goes on, it seems like it. And then see, and now it's going on. So it's like a 3-second lag.
I know, but what I'm saying is I can't figure out what's. There's nothing that should be making it, sorry, guys, there's nothing that should be making this. Go off and on like that, like, cause it's a whole power thing.
Could be solar flares.
Yeah,
Oh,
could be,
jeez.
yeah, could be anything.
Alright, so Dan, can you repeat your last statement? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Ken was right. When we, went on the endeavor with the water main coming down the road where, we want to put it, we don't want to put it in the pavement. We want to excavate along the side of the road where the blazing star could be. And so we didn't find any of it along the roadway corridor. So that's great. Now we can do open excavation the whole way. We don't have to think about directional drill or some alternative. So it's a good finding.
Thank you.
Yeah, good point.
The other item, electric, while we're still on. So I met with Comcast yesterday, and I met with them first. I met with them last week, and I think Ken had stopped by. He probably ran into them. So they did a site visit, the designers. So I've moved on from when you're kind of preliminary looking at the project, you move to the designers. Now they're looking at it. They're putting together an electric design, and so I showed them the site yesterday. They like the option that we're planning, which is basically tying into the power lines nearest to the site. And so they started putting together a design on paper, on AutoCAD. And I met with them yesterday on Zoom to go over their initial design and a couple minor changes they had, which were fine. So that design, their due date on it is October 8th. The way they're going, I'd expect it sooner. And when they get that design, we are supposed to get their, I forget what the title, they have so many people over there, but it's not the designers, but the person processing the work request will put together a cost for that they send over to it. Gets put together by Grid internally, but they send it to me. So with the design would come a cost. So hopefully we'd have that, I'd anticipate before town meeting, so we would have an idea exactly what electric will cost.
Great.
Madam Chair, Dan, did Comcast mention,
National Grid.
National Grid.
oh,
He said, he
He said
mistakenly said
Comcast.
Comcast.
oh, we meant National Grid.
He meant National. Grid.
Never mind.
Fine, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, just quick question, Dan. So, basically linking into the power, is that at the beginning of the street near the cemetery? Is that where it is?
No, it's cross country. If you head, I guess it would be south of the site on DPW property, head south
Oh,
and
right,
we'll
okay.
we'll be going through the woods and connecting
Okay.
that way. So we'll have to do a little bit of clearing. There will be some site work, but ultimately it's the least expensive option.
Okay. Thank you.
Great.
Is it
That'd be
worth-
wonderful to
is
be
it
able to
worthwhile
have that.
putting the GIS up and looking at it for the committee? I don't know if we want about it.
No,
No, okay.
I don't know. I don't,
Well,
That's okay. You don't have
if
to.
you wanna do it.
I don't know, I guess that's up to Dan if you wanted to put it up. So just to clarify, so what we had talked about 3 different options. One was going down Bishop Road. One was coming from the water treatment plant down the access road, and the other was going more along the property line, but the most direct route. So you're saying it's option number 3 is what National Grid is favoring?
Yeah, option 3. And
Okay.
talking with them initially, they weren't supposed to talk costs really with me, but they talked in generalities, and this is the least expensive, the best option, and most time efficient as well.
Basically goes right behind the building. Up a slope, but when you get to the top of the slope, it flattens out quite a bit up on top. And goes right straight down to the existing transmission line that's running through the DPW box.
Gotcha. Okay, so
Yeah.
does that change at all, like great news for natural heritage, but does that change at all the area of disruptance? No. Okay,
So, well, it will be, I don't know if it's a permanent disruptions. I've already talked to Steve from Goddard and he said it will need to be permitted with, for the Blandings turtle, but you know, it's really just we're creating a little access road similar to the ones we have that the power lines can be accessed along, the new ones that go in. So I don't think it's a major
Okay.
significant change, but talking with Steve from Goddard.
Great, thanks.
And we'll, at the end of the day, we'll have to grant, National Grid a license or an easement or both. So ultimately, it'll have to be on a drawing,
Yeah.
plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Dan, for those updates.
Yep.
All right. Any others?
From me,
Yeah.
let's see. Couple weeks ago, Ken came with me and we met with Devons on a various items, but just really the movement of the gate. Devons is still on board to move it, you know, roughly the 400 feet west of the site. And at this time, DPW engineering, Air DPW and Mass Development Engineering are working on a plan. And really what we envision is just, you know, widening a little bit down at the end where the gate would be moved to so that people could turn around, have a spot to turn around, nothing significant. And also John Marcarell was on the call. He's Mass Development Engineer. He said he was on board with prior to town meeting having, you know, a letter indicating Devons agrees to be moving the gate, kind of cover our bases before town meeting, but we have to move that up the chain and get a letter with Devons because this isn't going to happen before fall town meeting, but we could get that letter before town meeting. The physical movement of the gate wouldn't happen. So I'm still working on that. So that's the gate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, Dan. I had forgotten about this particular issue, but I think it will be helpful on the floor at town meeting to be able to definitively say
Yeah.
that. So it's great that we have that letter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Prior to that meeting, again, if you recall, Devons and yourself received a letter from the National Park Service or whatever the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, I guess it is,
Right.
stating their inclination that that's where they wanted the gate as well.
Yeah. So that was an email exchange where I requested, you know, moving the gate to the triangle.
Yeah.
But the alternative they you know sought was to not have the gate down at the triangle. They preferred we keep it 400 feet west of the site, and they had concerns with wildlife crossing and things like that. There's potential we could end up doing two gates, but you know, at this time we know we can do that gate 400 feet west. That's the plan. Move forward with that. Eventually there could be a gate at the turnaround if we work with Devons on that, and you know, and Fish and Wildlife would have to obviously be involved. They said they were open to more discussions about a second gate.
All right, so I think that brings us to discussion of the last three meetings we've had: Finance Committee, Capital Planning, and Select Board meeting. I'm not sure there's a ton of discussion to be had. We can recap it here for the record. You know, FinCom voted, as most of you know, you're all there, voted 2-1-1 not to recommend, and Capital Planning voted 4-1 to recommend. And then I believe the vote was unanimous last night by the Select Board to.
I didn't vote.
They didn't vote.
Yeah, they just,
Oh,
They
maybe
said
that's
they'll-
why I
they'll
didn't
vote.
remember what the vote count was.
Yeah.
That they
they just agreed.
basically agreed, yeah, that,
They'll vote when it's time for the warrant.
Yeah, so,
right, you're right, yes, thank you.
Say that
Yeah,
again,
so-
Ellen? When it's time, there's a date when
When
they're
they approve
supposed to approve the warrant.
October 7th.
And October 7th, they'll say, yeah, then we're on the warrant. But
Okay.
she's saying we're on.
Okay.
yeah, so I think for the record, we can say that at last night's select board meeting, the select board chair indicated that they would approve the warrant articles for the senior center building committee at their October 7th meeting.
I believe that's more specific.
And they were gonna call on September 24th for the ballot election.
Yes, yeah, so I think that we
Here
can,
comes Robin's got it,
Oh, go ahead, Robert.
26.
Madam Chair, Good evening, members of the committee. So just so we're all on the same page, so the select board is going to meet on Thursday, September 25th at 5 p.m. To vote to call the debt exclusion election for Tuesday, November 4th, and also to approve the ballot question, which I've sent previously to the committee. The ballot question is specific by statute. It doesn't even include the dollar amount. It wouldn't for any project. So that step will happen on September 25th, and they have to send in writing to the town clerk, which they'll do then, this information. And so they will have exceeded the deadline of September 30th. So the debt exclusion piece is all set. With respect to the town meeting warrant article, they will approve the warrant on Tuesday, October 7th, and they'll have the draft warrant in their packet on October 3rd, which is publicly on the website. And as the chair indicated, they will be voting to put the article forward to town meeting as well as the election.
Thank you for that clarification.
They didn't mention the UDAG. When do they vote on giving us the $1 million from UDAG?
So, so excellent question. So, and one other thing is that just significance, the capital planning committee, which voted 4-1, just so everybody knows, was to not only recommend the project, but also to recommend the 2 million from capital stabilization. I am going to ask the select board to discuss the issue of the UDAG funding at their October 7th meeting.
So put it on the agenda, Robert, as an item.
Yeah.
But what if they say no? Won't that mess up our whole financial plan?
No.
Through the chair, I think you're on pretty solid ground on the UDAG.
I have. I was wondering, I noticed that, you know, when we saw the finance committee, one of the guys who voted no, didn't like the idea of using the stabilization fund, because he didn't like the idea of using town money on this. But, and I noticed that when that issue came up at the capital planning thing the next day, Barbara said, the thing is, it's better to use the stabilization and the UDAG money because it would save the town up to like 1.9 million in interest. But she did not say that to the finance committee. And I'm wondering if she had said that, whether that might have changed their vote, you don't think?
No.
Madam Chair, and
Yes.
I don't want to, because I know the FinCom isn't here, but if for those of you that were still there, you'll notice at the end of that meeting, I popped right up to the table and asked them specifically, because they said something, just what you said, Ellen, that it was the funding plan, which I take issue with, or the using the capital stabilization. And when I asked them, you know, is it that, or is it the size of and the cost of the project? I didn't really get a clear answer, but I spoke with them afterwards. And what my concern is, and this is just when I talked to them, my concern is I don't want to speak for them, but the issue for at least two of them is the size and the cost. And I really wish they had publicly and clearly said that. And just so everyone knows that the end of that meeting, how it culminated was unfortunate in that it was not very clear and straight, if you will. That's why also Selectman Livingston last night asked, and I have confirmation because the town moderator sent it in email to each of the members, has asked the finance committee to be at town meeting.
Oh, another question. Is it ever possible to go back to finance and ask them to reconsider?
Why I'm pausing is I've encountered many things in my career. This is a first. I would say the absolute deadline for the warrant what will be October the 7th, meaning on October the 7th, it all has to be approved and sent out. So I mean, if the FinCom were to reconsider, I mean, you could ask that, but I don't know if they will.
Like that would have to be something FinCom would initiate rather
Yeah.
than we would request.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a follow-up question to Alan's question, Robert, if you don't mind, through the
Mhm.
chair, actually. There were members of of both committees that were absent that night.
Yeah,
Both nights, excuse me, both nights. There were one member of each committee was missing each night.
yes.
Does it make any sense at all to attempt to have a discussion with those members and determine what their vote might have been, or should we just wait for town meeting?
I mean, again, my opinion through the chair is obviously they're public officials and you could, talk to them, individually. On the capital side, I think you're solid. I don't want to speak for the member that was absent, but the record will show if you look at specifically the capital planning minutes from, and he was planning to be there from January 22nd. He has been a consistent supporter of the project, and due to an unforeseen matter, he couldn't be there. So on the FinCom, that's a good question. There was one member that was absent, unfortunately.
Okay, so, Madam Chair, if I might. Robert, in terms of the warrant, is there the order that the articles appear on the warrant, is there kind of a common way of placing the articles on the warrant so that they are received in a logical order, which also kind of makes it easier for people to understand how it's gonna move through the process? Or
Yeah.
does it matter?
Yes, through the chair. So, but Barbara and I have been working with town council on this since, the meeting last week. Is the proposal the warrant, it'll probably be a single warrant article that will have both the borrow authorization and the capital stabilization piece in it. And we'll get a sample to you. It will spell out everything and then including the explanatory note as well. That would be best, we think, rather than, I mean, you could have two separate articles, town council, and I tend to agree on this, putting it all on one, I think will make it clearer and facilitate this. So that's under development as we speak, and we'll keep you updated through Katie on that.
And I'd follow up, Katie. Robert, you mentioned the election. I'm a little still misunderstanding the language of the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
thought did you mention that the ballot did not have a financial amount in it for the project? That's right.
Correct. Let me just, and that's not just this project, that's state law. And I know it seems, very odd that it wouldn't. So this is what the ballot question will simply say is, shall the town of Ayer be allowed to exempt from the provisions of Proposition 2 1/2, so-called, the amounts required to pay for the bond issued in order to construct, equip, and furnish a senior center building, including site preparation and design and engineering costs and any incidental and related costs and expenses, yes or no?
And it's one question.
It's just one question.
Thank you.
Yep.
So, in terms of next steps, I think most of it has to be public outreach for this committee. So do we wanna transition on Ellen to a public outreach update?
Okay, first I'm gonna, talk about what we're doing. And then I spoke with Betsy Disman today, who's the treasurer of the, Friends of the Ayer Senior Center, and she told me what they're planning to do for outreach. So the postcard, if some people wanna see this. Some of you have already seen it. This is going in, this was brought to the post office today. You want it? And, whoops, it was brought to the post office today in the hopes that it will be delivered tomorrow. To 5,000, homes of 5,000 people in Ayer. So, we're hoping that that happens because then, that will help us in terms of getting people out for the Saturday, public, information session. We did have 29 people at the last information session on Monday. And they applauded at the end of the presentation. And they said they really liked the video. So anyway, so that should be coming out hopefully tomorrow or the next day. And we're paying that with the grant money. They disappeared. Do we keep going?
No, they're still there. I'm just trying to pull up your document.
All right, in addition to that, we have a flyer. Which is 8.5 by 11, which is based on that postcard. And there's a group of people who are going around to businesses, churches, and any place else in town that's appropriate to put those up. So we're trying to get the topic in front of people from a variety of different sources. The
Ellen, are we printing those or how are those being?
printed here.
We're printing them.
Yeah. The video of the current Ayer Senior Center was pretty much of a hit at the, at our first public information session. There's a little bit more work that's going into it. We're putting some music on it. There are actual, interviews with 4, seniors that are also gonna be added to it. I asked, John Catlin, to please do a 2.5 to 3 minute video to answer 3 questions that were constantly being asked. And I think he is the best person to answer these questions. Why is the design for the senior center make it so big and therefore so expensive? Why is it a 2-story building? And what would happen in a fire emergency or other emergency if people were on the 2nd floor?
I know that answer right now.
Well, I know you know it.
No,
It's-
But we all know all those answers, but we're trying to package it in a way that is quick and easy and from a different source, because we have all answered those questions many times.
Yeah.
So, and, well, no, but I mean, the idea is that it's coming from a different source.
Yeah.
Should we consider I mentioned this, should we consider changing the word big to why we chose this size? Because if we keep saying big, people say, well, you're saying big, is it too big? I think we should say that the size was chosen for these reasons and, you know, listening to some concerns, we actually downscaled, but I'm concerned about using the word big,
Okay.
keeping that name out there,
Yeah,
that word
I
out
think
there.
That's good.
I changed it it got changed on the website. I will make a note to check on the 4-page pamphlet.
So, we will either add that to the slide presentation or to the video. We're just trying to get ahead of people asking that. Because it constantly comes up, so by kind of, preparing and cutting that off, saying this is why it's like this, we don't have to answer that question. All right, so that, we should have by Friday.
Can I elaborate? I'm just gonna add, if there's a possibility to get cat, well, I think we should get into something that's really important. Letting people know that the building is the most energy efficient building that's ever been built in the town of Ayer, things like that. Rather than how you get off the second floor, which it's in
Well-
design, but I'm thinking, can we add, if we can get part of our message is positive, we should add that this is gonna be the first building in the town of Ayer built under the newest energy codes, things like that, where they say those are advantages to the building, it's energy efficient, it's got everything you can imagine, you know, as far as quality.
I think both of those things are important, so if you could answer 4 questions, that.
What would that
be
question be?
fantastic.
If it's just discussing the building, he could discuss in his video, the fact that this building is gonna be the most energy efficient
I think
product.
the question, is the building energy efficient?
Yeah, there you go.
And designed to decrease energy usage or
Do
something?
we want him to answer anything about the features of the building that are designed specifically for seniors?
It's good.
Because I know you already have that.
Right, I think I would focus his time
Yeah.
and his responses. And we could always chunk them up and use them separately, but I would focus his time on things that our answers. And of course, it depends on the person, right? But like if our answers are sitting well with people,
Okay,
then I don't think there's necessarily any need for him to answer.
okay.
We came up with that idea because there are, for some people, some of our answers aren't resonating.
Yeah,
Not all things for all people, but I just mean some things for some people.
okay. So we expect to have the final video by Friday, so we can incorporate it into the presentation on Saturday.
And will that be posted at the airseniorcenter.com website or on the town
can.
website or both, or where will it be? Do we
So
know?
it would be incorporated into the public input presentation, and then I think we can add the videos on to the website as well.
The town website and the airscenter.com website?
So I'm not putting all of this information on air.ma.us because the website just isn't set up to handle
Vibrant
The-
enough,
what?
it's not voluptuous enough to do that.
That's not a word the word I would use, but I understand, it's robust, I think is
Robust
the
is
word
a
you're
better
looking
word.
for.
It's
It's-
antiquated.
It's just formatted for more text-based things. And so that's why we went with the separate one. But we will cross-reference them so that people, no matter where you land, you can be redirected to additional information.
Can I ask Ellen a question, through the chair, Ellen, and to Katie? These presentations that we're doing, are they leading up to the final presentation we'll use at town meeting?
Yes,
So all of this potentially is incorporated into the town meeting's presentation, the videos, the whatever else we're working on. So I'm trying to take
Great.
an example of, the presentation you gave the other night was great and the video was great. Is that kind of what we'll see at the town meeting?
I would think we would need something shorter than that because that was approaching 30 minutes. I didn't time it exactly. But we started pretty close to 7, and when I was done, I looked at my watch and it was 7:28. So I would defer to the town manager and the town moderator on that, but my assumption would be that a half an hour is probably a little long. Town meeting will need to tighten
is
it up.
there a standard for a presentation?
Yeah, it can be long.
Can we ask
It can be long, but
the
Town
town?
managers, there a
Hmm.
standard for how long we should be shooting for a presentation at town meeting?
So Madam Chair, so I think one of the things, and I do plan to, and he's aware to meet with the town moderator. I think for this project, and keep in mind, and this is our challenge, is if you go on, forever, you start to lose town meeting and so forth. I think the expectation on this one, I do think conceptually the split approach that we took. In other words, the first part of the presentation being about the, the project and how we got there. And the second piece, which will further refine about the financial piece. Yeah, I think the presentation, if we can get it to 20 minutes, 30 at the tops, that would be fair given the size and scope of this project.
Great, thank you.
Needs a lot.
All right, okay,
So what I was trying to get at is that Robert just cleared it up a little bit. Robert's presentation to the FinCom capital is quite different than our presentation to the community, or your presentation to the community.
Right,
So we're gonna have to continue to work on how we blend those for town meeting.
right.
Mhm.
So I gave a much abbreviated version of our community presentation at FinCom and Capital Planning. And then at the community presentation, I expanded back out to the fuller one, but then I also incorporated the financial slides
That was
that
good.
had gone to FinCom and Capital Planning. So I think there'll be some tightening likely on my end, on the concept end, that will have to happen for town meeting. And hopefully, as we go through the upcoming public information sessions, it will become clear where we can
Yeah.
tighten that back up again.
So when we tighten it up, I think some of the financial information can be downsized a little bit, but at the capital meeting, Robert's message for me at the end, and I don't know if it was done at the finance meeting because I wasn't there, but when he talked about checking all the boxes, Ayer, we're in great shape, we're in good financial. Barbara spoke. To me, I think that's what people want to know. If they're concerned about the cost, they want to know what it's going to cost them, but they want to know, hey, what do we have left? The check the box approach for me, I thought was very good.
Yeah.
It was very clear. It was a great overview. Yes, we know we're in good shape. We know we have these funds left. We know we have these funds left. This is what these funds. So I think if we could somehow, maybe not the whole thing, but incorporate that in the message to the public, we're in good shape, Ayer. This is a great time to do this. This is a great investment for the town. I think that message should get out there. I also think, I know it's a senior center. It has great potential in the future, and I'm not saying a community center, but there's great potential for this building. It's a great investment for the town. We talk about bringing utilities to a new area. That's a great investment for the town, and I think promoting that it's a great investment to the town, not just a great investment into the seniors, is important for everybody in town to hear.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah, I mean,
I
and
just
I
say the
think
same
instead
thing
of,
at a meeting.
Yeah.
You gotta cover
yeah,
it.
and I think
Yeah.
it maybe change, like investment is good, but I think, asset is a better, like, word. It's an asset. It's a really great asset because it could potentially be used for, other purposes.
Mhm.
Great.
Okay? Obviously, we'll have to set some time aside to really work just on that presentation.
Right.
All right, we have the 4-page booklet, everybody is, that's not the right one,
I got
that we use. So, hey,
it.
we're giving those out at the public information session. Katie gave out about 50 or 70 at the soccer game last week, and we're hoping to get some of those soccer parents to the Saturday session. And in some cases, though, we can give those out at the town transfer station. Dan, what is the procedure for getting permission to give stuff out at the transfer station?
Just reach out to me and I'll coordinate with Andrew. Really, there usually isn't anyone. I rarely get reached out to for people to do things, but as long as you reach out a few days before, it should be fine.
When you say reach out, is that a call or do you need an email?
You can call. Call is fine.
Can we reach out right now?
I guess,
Yeah, I hear you. If you want to shoot me an email with the tentative dates, I mean, that would be helpful. Then I can let Andrew know.
I'd recommend we send.
And we can sort of
directly
block
and
those off
just
to anybody else. No one really reaches out to me. It's rare that I get reached out.
We just make sure we have somebody committed to being
No,
there.
that's a potential, but we could do it every weekend, so why guess which weekend we're gonna do it? Just ask permission to have a representative from the senior center building committee on the site every weekend between now and October 27th. Then we'll figure out how to staff.
Okay, I mean, I guess we could, I don't know if that's feasible, but I guess.
Well, we've asked permission, he'll give us permission, we can go anytime we want, so we can get it.
Nobody's there.
It's covered, it's
Then
covered.
can we ask for permission to, do the
Potentially.
distribution at every weekend between now and town meeting?
He's gotta set up, send him an email. He's gotta ask for it. That's all we're
Yeah, look,
saying.
it should be fine. You know, I think the one thing we really are concerned with is just the safety of anybody there. You're walking around. So I want to make sure we have some safety vests and stuff for you guys, but you know, it's really pretty open. No one else has been bugging me about going up there. So do you know how long you'd be there on a Saturday or a Sunday?
What are the
Not during
hours?
the Patriots?
Oh,
3
yeah.
or 4 hours, maybe come on.
What are the hours it's open?
9 to
7 to 3.
7,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there at 7.
Maybe 10 to what? I don't
Well,
know.
we'll see.
You know, this is gonna sound crazy, but the people that work there probably know the busy
height.
hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, just ask
Who should we talk to about what the high times are for people to
Andrew.
come?
You know,
Yeah. Actually, no, you're talking to the right person. We actually did a little study. It's about 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. are the highest trafficked times.
More Saturday or Sunday?
Probably the Sundays were actually more than Saturday. Not a lot more, but a little bit more.
Depends how the patients are doing.
Weather convention
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
No
and
one
you don't
wants
wanna
to
go in the
go
rain
in the rain.
and stuff. So who's coordinating that?
I'll send an email to.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, so
I'll ask-
maybe if you want to shoot me an email like the Thursday before, Ken, or whoever's coordinating. And then I can make sure, you know, I'll let Andrew know this is coming up and you know, we'll accommodate.
Well, if anybody wants to, we need volunteers, so somebody needs to coordinate who the volunteers are gonna be that are gonna go. And it doesn't have to just be us, we can ask the friends if they wanna do it as well. But,
Yeah.
So what's the target date to start? It's not this weekend, right?
I'm gonna ask permission to have permission to use the site for distribution of materials every weekend between now and October 27th. Getting the permission,
Yeah,
then it's gonna be up to us to
To set it
determine
up.
how we staff and
so
what days.
somebody just
exactly.
has to.
But at least
serve as
they're notified.
coordinator.
Yeah, we have staff and fringe.
You know,
Yeah,
He's notified in advance, and then they'll have to get the paperwork.
so are you gonna coordinate who's gonna go?
Sure, I'm for it.
Okay, so Ken, good job. All right, so
I'm
that'll
not
be.
doing enough, I gotta do a little more.
Yeah, so I think it maybe be best, just give me like a weekly email, Ken, you know, by the end of the day, Thursday would be ideal, then I can, you know ahead of time for Andrew. You probably know the weather by then if you're
Yeah,
gonna skip a Saturday or Sunday, but yeah, it's fine.
all right. So, we have we have 3 more public information sessions on this Saturday at 10 during the soccer practice. Wednesday, October 1st at 10 at the library, and Thursday, October 16th at 7 p.m. at the high school auditorium. Okay, we'll also have the website, which we're adding to with, lots of information. There is social media things happening on Facebook, and the community page, and we ask people to who are on Facebook, to check out the community page, and if you see anything up there that looks like misinformation, let's try to correct it so that it doesn't get out of hand like Peroni Park did. And we're also I'm working on a, kind of a press kit and publicity that we can send out to newspapers, possible press release and fact sheet, soon.
I was gonna ask that question, if you don't mind, thank you very much for bringing it up. I don't see why there's no reason we don't call up right now, call up the local newspaper and ask them to come interview you about the project.
Well-
An article in the newspaper.
We wanna have a fact sheet. The last time they did an interview, there was a lot of incorrect information.
We're gonna do, give them this.
No, We're gonna put together a fact sheet.
Time.
We're gonna
They
put together a
have
fact
that
sheet,
document.
Ken, of the information we want them to use and a press release, and then we will let them do it. But we, it didn't work well just using this last time. So we're gonna be a little bit more targeted,
Good.
okay?
Thank
Who's our
I've done-
local newspaper?
I've-
Who's the local newspaper?
Well,
Paper I get every week, the public spirit.
Oh, public service.
The thing that's fascinating about this public spirit, this is not senior center related. It's still the law in Massachusetts that public hearings in the state of Massachusetts by town municipal committees need to be advertised in the local newspaper.
Where's the public spirit coming from?
We subscribe,
Online?
they mail it.
I've never seen it.
Hard copy?
I get it right in my mailbox.
I've never heard of it before.
No, me
I
neither.
get a newspaper every Friday.
We don't really have a local news.
So all the community stuff that's going on as far as the committees in town is still advertised because it's the law.
Well, it's the law for hearings,
Hearings,
yes.
they get public hearings,
Yeah.
that's what I said. public
Yeah.
hearings.
Okay, so did you wanna reach out to Lowell and Fitchburg?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's
will.
still owned by the little son, they're the ones who do.
Okay. Now, according to Betsy Diskin, who is treasurer of the Friends,
And married to one Mr.
Yeah.
Hendon.
so their plan is, they're gonna do a postcard similar, same size as the one we have, using the same mailing, thing where you do an indicia and then it's delivered to everybody in town. And that's probably gonna come out in October, and that's gonna be a vote yes, is kind of their theme. So they will have that, it will be two-sided, vote yes for the Air Needs a Senior Center, vote yes. They're also gonna do yard signs, they're ordering 100 yard signs, 18 by 24, the same thing, same message, vote yes. And you need 2 votes. Okay, then they're also gonna have a banner, a 3 by 10 banner, and we're aware it can't go on town land or anything, so they're looking into a location near the Rotary. And they can also go to the transfer station. We may take turns with them because they can pass out their vote yes. If they make a flyer or something similar to this, they can pass those out at the transfer station. We can't do that.
Robert is saying he has a quick question, but his hand raiser is not working.
Okay,
Thank you. The hand function isn't working. I just wanted to clarify on all of this, all of these materials, is somewhere like on the bottom or something, does it say, from
Yes.
friend, okay. From the friends or, yeah, that's just important because everything you're doing is fine, but just to have that disclaimer. So there's always somebody, because the town, as you all know, we can't use public resources to advocate either way. What you're doing, you can.
There's
Yeah.
a public information postcard, which does not have any advocacy on it. It just has
Yeah,
information about what a senior center does and when the public input dates are. That says paid for by the Air Senior Center Site Selection and Building Committee. And then everything the Friends are doing
Yeah.
has that, take it on the bottom.
paid for by the Friends of the Air Seniors.
perfect. Yeah. Anything that's advocacy you can do as long as it's, it sounds like you got that covered. I just wanted to clarify. Thanks.
One final thing, the Friends are continuing to fundraise, because luckily they had raised enough money that they could pay for the postcard and the banner and the yard signs. They're gonna be at the Newton Street Fair and also at the Harvard Flea Market, and they will have their own booth. But one of the things they're gonna do is a drawing. It's not a raffle, it's a drawing. And, requested donations, and they'll have something like a basket, possibly one that's gonna be coffee and biscuits and stuff. But they thought, if they could put together, one that has a lot of lottery tickets in it. So all different size lottery tickets would be very appealing to people. So I'm telling people, if you would like to donate, $10 worth of lottery tickets, whether it be a $10 or two $5 or 10 $1, that would be very helpful to us. And they're gonna have, I think 2 of those at Newton Street and 2 of them at Harvard.
Good idea.
So we're looking for people who would contribute.
Yeah.
So, it's gonna be
It's-
from Betsy Diskin, but you can give it to me.
So what are the baskets for? If people donate money?
Yes, yes, it'll say donations accepted for this, recommended donation, 5 tickets for 6 tickets for $5 or $1 a piece. And no purchase is necessary, and so they could, like at the yard sale, if somebody buys $25 worth of stuff, they could give them a free ticket. You know, it's not like you're forcing them to buy something, so it's not really a raffle. So it's donations, okay? But, so that's their plan. So any way we can help them to put together their things is good.
So can I ask a question about other fundraising or reaching out to businesses? Where does that fall, or who can do that, or, because that's a big area where we.
So I think that one's kind of a mixed approach. So, Robert, do you want to talk about the specific guidelines for our committee versus what the Friends could do?
Yes.
Not to put you on the spot, but
No, that's, so the Friends organization or individuals in their individual capacity residents, there are no restrictions. The senior center site committee, building committee, that entity, because you're officially a public body appointed by the select board, should not get involved in any, I'm talking the committee as a whole, get involved in any fundraising. Does that make sense? Meaning, as a committee, approaching anybody. Additionally, for some folks that are on the committee that are public officials, so for example, Katie, Dan Van Schatwick, and probably Ken Diskin as an elected member of the planning board, you can engage in that activity as individuals, but you need to file a disclosure with the select board's office. It's a specific form that you fill out and it's kept on file that basically indicates what you're going to be doing and that it doesn't propose a conflict or so forth. So what the Friends are doing, I mean, because Friends groups do this everywhere, and fundraising is fine. Individuals, like private residence is fine. If you're a public employee or public official, like I mentioned, it's not that you can't do it, but before you do anything, you want to fill out a disclosure. Does that help?
Should we answer that now? Jim, like you and I have filled it
yeah,
out.
I have filled out the disclosure.
Yeah.
I feel-
Yeah.
So Robert, I as a not, I guess, a member of the building committee, but as a resident, and I do not hold an elected office in town. As long as I don't represent that I'm speaking for the committee or access public funds, I can advocate for the building simply because by virtue of
Mhm.
being a resident of the town.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Okay, yeah, I just wanna say, Matt, Villanova, I think, is the chair of the Wilbraham Friends, and they've raised $1 million. And he's been helping us, to design like our postcard. He's a marketing expert, and he's offered to train the people who are gonna do fundraising. But technically, when the Friends went to the Board of Selectmen to get permission to do fundraising, they said they were not gonna do fundraising until it had been approved at town meeting. So technically, they're not supposed to go out. Now, if people come to us, we can accept donations. We've gotten somebody who said they wanted to donate the commercial kitchen. But, so, we can schedule a time when Matt can come in and train people on how to approach businesses and what's the best way to handle it.
I do agree 100%. I think in the meantime, before we get there, I think just as the Friends are doing, we could all take a look at who we know and which businesses that would make the most sense for us to approach versus cold calls. I mean, some of them would be, but if there are particular businesses that you have a relationship with, that could be the people you would want to approach. And I think we should be organized about it. In collaboration with the Friends, so that there aren't a bunch of people approaching the same company
Yeah,
and then
So the
nobody
Friends
approaching another one.
would probably need to coordinate that.
Yeah.
Because we don't want somebody to just say, I really I go to the cottage all the time to eat sandwiches, I'll go ask them. When we might have someone who knows somebody that's a better person to go. So, if somebody thinks that they would be a good, person to do that, they should talk to the Friends first before they go.
So I agree with the final statement that Errol said, that I guess that for the credits, I didn't realize what happened in the sequence with the select board and fundraising. I simply do not feel that comfortable until the town meeting passes it. I just don't feel it lands the right message. When the town meeting passes it, then you feel strongly that the town is committed, to the project. And if you have a better case to talk to businesses about it.
Yeah.
I think the prep work of who you might talk
Yeah,
to,
all the prep we
Is
can think
all
about, we can work out a
Yeah.
plan,
But,
work
yeah.
out anyone.
Yeah.
but agree, roll it out in earnest after town meeting.
Okay, I think the thing that's important now is for us to continue to try to answer those same questions which Ellen brought up again. And just keep engaging with people that we know and get the message out more and more and more. It was, I think, not out of order here. It was interesting that when we had one of those committee meetings that happened in capital planning, that I remember the capital planning did a little survey on its own. And the real answer was that most people in town don't realize that we even have a senior center now. So
Right.
there's a lot of people that don't even understand we have a present senior center, rather than we're trying to build a new senior center. So we actually have to do a message about the importance of a senior center. Just
Well,
in
that's
town.
what this is.
I know that, but when we talk to people and we don't have that
Yeah.
in front of us, the importance is the fact that the town needs this kind of growth, like you said, and needs a senior center and needs these services to the elderly community. I'll get there someday, but,
And that's part of the reason that, it's aptly timed that National Senior Center Month is September. And I've been trying to do some social media outreach. I haven't shared all of those posts into the Air community page, but they're certainly shared on my page, the senior center's page. And any social media efforts that we're doing, getting the word out to a broader audience. Social media is one way to do that. It's one of many tools. But it will focus not necessarily just on the building project, but why a senior center is important. I think it's a good point.
one more, you just reminded me of something, Katie. This has to do with I saw the Facebook post last Friday on the community page, I think it was, it went up regarding the Monday meeting. So are you gonna put one up like tomorrow? Or
Yes.
Saturday?
Yeah.
When you do that, could you do me a favor and look at the lower right of the thing? I think it might have been in yellow. It seemed to be, I couldn't see it as clearly, but it might have been the date and the time was in highlighted somewhere on the page.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Could you just
okay,
double check that that's
Yes.
very easy to read?
yeah,
Okay, thanks.
I would definitely do that, yeah.
Did anybody else have any other suggestions related to outreach at this time?
No, but I think we all have to, so after the capital meeting where he reached out to people. I reached out to people also, but I chose different age brackets, and it was surprising. I reached out to a 30-year-old who's been living in there for 8 or 9 years. He happens to be in public safety in another town, but he like, of course, because he sees the value, because he deals with this in another town, the seniors and what they need. I reached out to somebody who just recently retired, lives right around the corner from this center, but goes to another center because of, just some of the programs, the size. She's only walked in here a few times and she actually volunteers, or that I explained that, yes, she would vote for it. She is looking forward to using a new senior center. I reached out to somebody else, a different age bracket, same thing, and explained. So I think we have to reach out to a different age group and not just focus, and I don't think we are just focusing on seniors, but I think we have to try to get other people of, different,
Hopefully on Saturday we'll get some soccer parents who might come.
We may get soccer parents. Like I said, I handed out 70 of those 4-page brochures, and there were only 2 people who drove past me and didn't want one. So 70 of 72 were like, oh, thank you. This is great. I'll read it over. So that information is getting out. I would love to see, volleyball is going on right now. So I'd love to see if we can go to volleyball and do the same thing, as well as a home football game.
Where is volleyball?
It's youth volleyball, but it's at the high school gym.
And when's the home football?
I haven't looked at their schedule yet.
Following up on public input and connecting the people, I was very happy to see the crowd, the number of residents who came last night. I had called a few of them and they did come, but I thought we had a good blend. I saw some faces I did not recognize, so there were clearly people that were, had heard about it somewhere, Jane. Well, just at the select board meeting, they didn't go to the other meetings, those are very tough complicated financial meetings, but there was a good blend of people, I thought. last
Definitely.
night.
Robert, I'm gonna put you on the spot here with a question that might not have a clear answer. So is there a policy or procedure that's followed for public input? Because, for example, if people are online, you have, provided it's working, you can put the arm up. But like, I, as a person in the audience at the select board, can't, it would be rude, right? It's uncomfortable and rude. Is there any guidance for, like, at the last 2 times we've appeared before the select board, there has been a tendency to not receive public input from people that are there? And I'm just looking for some clarification on how that's handled, because we don't want to waste, like, we want to be able to balance the narrative of who's against it with who's for it. But we also don't want to waste those people's time if the format isn't right for accepting the public input. Do you have any guidance for that?
So quickly, a couple things. So first of all, under public input, which is on the agenda normally, is open for any topic. But the issue of the meeting and public input to large extent is subject to the chair, which unfortunately there can be variations. So in the case of last night, the chair said under public input, anything that wasn't on the agenda, which led to, when we get to the topics, we would, allow public input. In light of, I will be speaking with the chair and I are going to talk about public input moving forward. So what I'm getting at is, unfortunately, there are best practices in guidance to that. And, usually, for example, what I would do is start with whoever's in the room first, actually, then go to Zoom, for example. So we need to make some improvements on that, not just last night's meeting, but as you can see, every meeting is different. Just real quick, with town meeting, however, is actually, it's a little clearer in this sense. So the town moderator has the sole authority to run the meeting. And so what that means is that anybody that wants to address town meeting has to be recognized by the moderator. And so additionally, the moderator, because if you had no structure, so people can't just come up to the microphone and start talking about their trip to Nevada or what have you, is the moderator has the legal authority, if you will, to sort of focus the conversation, hence the warrant article. So when we get to the senior center project at town meeting, the moderator is very generous in this sense. There'll be the presentation we talked about. You know, that's important. After the presentation, then people will have to be recognized by the moderator and can ask their questions or their points, but it needs to be really focused on the project. And I mean, the spirit of town meeting, I mean, that is the people's body, is to hear from as many people as possible. Final point, just because town meeting is different, I know many of you are experienced with it and so forth. Sometimes what will happen is as the discussion goes on into the night, if people keep making like the same points and so forth, the moderator does have the right to, you know, again, structure that. And so I know that the moderator has been following this very closely and we'll talk. So Katie, to conclude, on the public input front, it's all over the place depending on committees and so forth. Noted, there's some areas for clarity and improvement. And then specifically, and I'm sure we'll be talking again, when we get to town meeting, for what it's worth, there's one authority, which is the moderator, and it's somewhat structured.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Can I follow up, Robert, on a town meeting concern that I have through? So this is a clarification of people who are not residents and how they would speak.
Yep.
Typically, when we go to town meeting, the professional staff at the beginning of the meeting, I think they're exempted from that requirement. However, we are potentially going to have an owner's project manager and the architect as potential answers of questions or potential speakers about the budget or process, whatever we have. Will the town meeting have to vote to recognize them unanimously to allow them to speak?
So great question. And just Ken, so just for everybody's benefit. So in Ayer and many towns, there's a rule that all residents have a right to speak at town meeting recognized by the moderator. Additionally, all town department heads, regardless of residency, can address the town meeting through the moderator. So for example, I don't live in Ayer. Katie doesn't live in Ayer, but and what Ken's getting at, the rule has been historically, you know, non-residents require a unanimous vote of town meeting to address the body. Ken, I'm going to suggest to the moderator, because it's ultimately his call too, and to town meeting, given the importance and size of scope of this project, that the OPM and the architect and so forth, in my opinion, be treated like department heads. And we've done that. We have done that in the past. What I'm getting at is, you know, they still have to be recognized by the moderator, but I think it would be a disservice to the town of Ayer, regardless of where people stand on the issue, to not hear when appropriate from the experts. So I believe that the select board would be supportive of that, because we've done that in the past, right, Dan, on certain projects, because we have professional experts.
Okay, thank you. And and I'm hopeful that this doesn't happen, but if on the floor somebody objects to one of our professionals from out of town speaking, I, as a resident, will object to that objection and urge the moderator to okay it with you,
Yeah.
you know.
Why anyone would?
Oh, it's happened.
Oh, has it?
I have been at Airtown meeting where they have attempted to prevent one of the consultants from speaking on the floor.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but again, I'm hopeful that that doesn't happen, but just to make the committee aware that we as residents can make requests of and speak to the body if objections or whatever happening on the floor, so.
Yep.
Can I just make one single point, go back to, what Linda was saying, is that when you, and this is I tend to forget, when we talk to people, like whether, you know, what age, well, voting people, air people, is to actually remind them of the town meeting date and time, and maybe to, you know, ask, please put it on your calendar, because, people tend to forget when it is, they don't have it on their calendar, and they don't go. And that's the most important thing, is to go and vote,
Mhm.
and ballot as well.
For sure.
The
And also not.
signs are gonna say the date.
The signs, the friend
It-
signs
it
will say
will,
the
but-
date,
Right.
also to add to our
Bring those
public
signs.
outreach plan. I will be able to use the robocall feature, not for advocates, not the town robocall, but the senior center robocall. To remind people of the dates. I won't be able to put anything about advocacy in it, but,
Yeah.
via phone. Don't quote me off the top of my head, but I've got probably 1,500 phone numbers or so.
Yeah.
So I will be able to send a robocall.
Yeah,
Okay.
because, you know,
Or reach them at the emails.
yeah, because typically at town meeting, you know, there's people that go all the time, and, you know, some people go when they, you know, they like to vote on a specific article, but we need a lot more people to
Yeah,
show up.
and we can remind them they can get transportation too.
Yep.
Yeah, one other thing I forgot to mention, in addition to the 4 dates that we scheduled for public information sessions, we're also hoping to have some, whether we hand out things or if we actually do the presentation at churches or other nonprofit groups, or even going into a home of somebody who's gonna invite 10 or 15 of their friends. So, Carolyn, McCreary said she would help organize that, so she's working on trying to come up with some places to go with. Well, if anybody has any ideas, you can let me or Carolyn know.
I think just getting the handouts, even if that was at a church, just getting the handouts, I think, because the message is gonna start being out there.
Yeah.
And directing people to the website and in the video, so I think even just handing out the handouts would be important. And then on the, Friends, so the October 27th meeting is a Monday, the next meeting is a Tuesday. The Sunday at the transfer station would be a perfect for them to hand out their materials, because it's really the day before and then 2 days before.
Right.
Remind people to
Yeah.
vote,
Okay.
Yeah.
if they decide to.
That's a good idea, yeah.
All right, so, since there's no public here, we don't need to do public input. That brings us to our important and next meeting dates. So this Saturday, September 20th at 10 a.m. here at the Senior Center is another public information session. I'm trying to make it accessible for people, that 2 during the day and 2 during the evening. Then, Wednesday, October 1st, there's a public information session at 10 a.m. at the library. As well as Saturday, October 4th is the Newton Street Festival with a rain date on the 5th. I am out of town that weekend, so I need the building committee to set up staff and break down the Newton Street Festival.
Where's all the
What's
stuff?
that day?
It's what?
Where's the stuff?
I'll gather the stuff for everybody, yeah. And as you can see, over here, I've got the 4 easels set up, but I've got them like 2 and 2. So if you guys don't wanna fuss with that mesh screen, you don't have to. It would just be a matter of figuring out how to appropriately lay those down in case it's a breezy day. So we don't have to over engineer it if you don't want to. So I do need people to volunteer to spearhead that. When do we want to, there's more dates in October, but I can save the rest of those. They're in that email I sent out. When do we want to meet again?
We need a lot.
So are most of the meetings gonna be about the public outreach and just that? So I'm just trying to
That's
get
the
a,
main
yeah.
part of our, and then, after town meeting, provided that it passes, then we're gonna shift back into a lot of the other stuff, but there could be, I guess, opportunities for utilities updates. But mostly the public outreach and,
In the grant. The grant that-
over the grant, yeah.
So, sometime in October, early October,
Did we do it before the
Or
Newton
next
Street? When's, the Newton Street's on the fourth, you said, right?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
Saturday.
Just before that, maybe to double check who's gonna work.
yeah, we have a, October first at 10, we have a library public information session. Should we do it after that? What about Thursday, the 2nd? Would that work?
October 2nd, Thursday, yes. Want to do 4 o'clock?
it's 2 weeks out.
Yeah, I'm fine with Wednesday or Thursday, that is.
I can do either.
4 p.m.? Or do you wanna do it that
Oh,
Wednesday
actually,
night?
I would prefer Wednesday,
Okay,
if
so
possible.
Wednesday night, cause that's a big,
yeah,
okay, so Wednesday night?
So Wednesday the first,
Wednesday the first, yeah.
at 4 or 6?
I'm fine with either one, we had said we were gonna alternate, so this could be a 4 o'clock one, if
Yeah.
that works well for
Is that
everybody.
okay? Does that work for you?
I'll have to wait. It's all depends on my job. It's.
And then,
So can I make an offer? So if we meet on the first, how many, is that 3 meetings in October?
well, we need to have something before the town meeting to make sure we're prepared for that,
Right.
don't we?
So that would, yeah, so that would be somewhere around the 15th. Or right before the week, the week. Right preceding the town meeting.
So what I anticipate would be the largest public input session in
Is,
terms of attendance would be Thursday the 16th.
yeah,
So the question is whether or not we want to meet before that or
or
after.
after that.
I would rather meet after to kind of
Right.
assess how it went.
Yeah,
And then from there, all of our focus is on, the town meeting and getting out the vote, I
Yeah.
mean, getting people.
Do we want to meet again on the 20th?
I think that's good, Katie, early that next week, because we'll want to be putting together the presentation materials, which we got to get into, I don't know, Chuck or whoever, by the end of that week.
mhm, yeah. Yeah,
October 20th is what day?
That's a Monday.
Monday,
We're thinking about Wednesday the first, is that it?
Right.
so the first, the 20th,
Then not go for like 3 weeks after that?
I guess too long.
It's too
Yeah.
long.
Yeah,
Right now,
yeah,
too many things can happen.
so
I'd
the,
go 1/7, then
October 7th,
whatever, the 14th, I don't know. Before the final.
I'm not available on the 7th, but you guys can certainly.
what about the 8th?
I can't do the 8th, I have a meeting,
She's traveling.
town meeting.
Okay, the following, what's the following Monday after, well, the first?
Columbus Day is the 13th.
the 13th, I can't, yeah.
What about,
We could do the 14th,
what day is that?
Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Tuesday, the 14th?
Yeah, I have a planning board meeting
Oh, okay, yeah.
tonight, but I can do it during the afternoon,
What about 4 on that day?
What time's planning board?
6:15.
We can do four.
I mean, this meeting is an hour and 35 minutes. Robert had to pop off. Maybe we could try and keep
It'll
them,
be shorter. That's
yeah,
all.
so if we did it at 4 o'clock, that would work on the 14th. That wouldn't preclude us from meeting again on the 20th. if we
Although
needed
you
to.
do, right, it's not funny, right?
What's the date of the Harvard flea market?
The 11th.
11. Okay. Yeah, okay, so we're doing the 14th
Mhm.
at 4,
Mhm.
and then the 20th, is that one at 4 or at 6?
I think that's up to you guys.
Doesn't matter to me.
Fours are gonna be hard for me, but,
You wanna do 6 that day?
well, even if it's not, it doesn't even have to be six, it just, if four is hard, because that means I have to leave my job at 3:30, I usually
Right.
work till, so it's just.
What about 5?
Let's do 5.
Yeah, 4:30 or 5, it's like 5 would be better than 4, and it doesn't have to be 6.
Right, so the 20th at 5?
So the first at 4, the 14th at 4, and the 20th at 5.
Okay, and you're gonna tell Catlin and the OPM.
Are, are we anticipating the OPM participating between now and then? Do they think
It's my question. I'm just-
So, I mean, they're not being paid for this process right now. You know, John came to the meeting last night.
Right.
Right, and the OPM was on the FinCom and capital planning meetings via Zoom, but not on the select board meeting last night. So I think we could ask them to come if there's something we need them for. But if we're just talking about public outreach, I'm not even sure that we really need them to come. Especially since we don't have any money to pay them right now.
The question is,
Then there's
will
that.
they come to the town meeting?
Yes, because I think both of their proposals included prep up to town meeting. And they were built with that in mind. With the end of the grant coming up.
Okay, because they should be able to
Yeah.
tell us anything from their experience. It'll be really important at town meeting that you do this, you know?
I think, I was trying to, I was very happy you asked that question because it appears as a committee, we pretty much have been doing this by ourselves since.
Yeah.
We settled on the final, but at town meeting, the way I envision their answers will potentially be regarding cost increases. So their experience with the pricing in the marketplace right now, someone would say, you know, what makes you think you can do it for that, but might be $2 million higher a year from now. That, I think, is where the OPM can help us, because they're in the market all the time with construction prices.
Right, yeah. I definitely wouldn't attempt to field a question like that.
Yeah, so that's where
I
we
think
need
defer to
them
them.
and the architect. do for that
And-
kind of stuff.
And I think it's important that they be,
They can give
the
us a-
fact that they work for us, that is, and that state law requires that we have one in order for them.
It
I
happens.
think that that would give the town meeting members
Yeah.
some comfort in knowing that
Right.
we must hire professionals to monitor this so that, you know, costs don't get out of whack or that the project is properly managed throughout the process, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Yeah, it was, go ahead.
So I think in all these public forums, you know, there will be new questions that come up, and I think in anticipation to the questions. You know, getting those questions to OPM is really important, so they have like a good, solid answer for everything.
Probably one of the most important things that happened in this whole sequence was that the last month, when we drilled down, when the OPM and the architect got together. And with Fogarty's estimates, and we drilled down to where we are for the price level. That was probably one of the most important things we did. Maybe totally unappreciated by people, but that was a big job to get the OPM, the architect. The estimator's price, and all of us to agree where we are right now.
Okay. So, Katie, do you wanna talk to them and say that we're expecting that they will have some input
Yes.
to us on what to expect and how they think we should prepare, or?
Yeah, I'm catching up with Brian from Vertex tomorrow. He's gonna call me, just to catch up, so I will let him know that.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with, everything we're really saying. I think the committee itself is in a good spot. I think, I'm comfortable where we are with outreach and just leaning on the professionals when we need them for answers or technical expertise. I think the committee can handle, this outreach. And that's very similar to when I did the stormwaters. I had Ty and Bond there, but they really didn't do a lot with the outreach. They maybe prepared like a table here or there or a graphic if I needed it, but otherwise, the committee members did most of the work.
Yeah, Dan, just to let you know, when we had the public outreach the other night, I thanked you at that meeting and mentioned that you were part of the estimating, you know, that your team had engineered the water line down the street. And that was a benefit for the town, you know, to have you design that and be in a position to help us get it built.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. That's an asset we have and we should, you know, be championing that and that how we save some money there and we're doing good. Yeah.
Wonderful. Anything else? I just want to say thank you to everybody on this committee for walking through this long journey with together, and we're like, you know, we're so close.
If you
So,
get this thing passed, we can have a real fun.
It is a major milestone that we got it to,
yeah.
Yes,
No,
it
it
is.
is- it is
considering
a
how
major
the
milestone, I
board,
agree, yeah.
this
Yeah.
board of selectmen was at the last time
Yeah.
before. we-
Yes, and I, you know, and I think that having observed what occurred regarding West Main, that eventually was tabled on the floor. Due to potential concerns mostly about contamination and environmental issues on the site. And then the start of this committee and Barone Park having proceeded to a particular spot and then having to be aborted because of the withdrawal of Parks and Rec. This is a seminal moment in the life of the town, because this is the first time since over 7 years that we're actually getting something to the floor at town meeting for the people. So it's taken 7 years not to get a building built, just to get to the floor with a proposal for the citizens of the town to vote on. So it's a terrific moment, certainly, in my view.
Hope so.
All right, can I get a
Motion
motion?
to adjourn.
All right.
Second, third.
All right. Dennis.
Aye.
Oh, look at
I,
Ken,
Aye.
Bonnie,
I.
Ellen,
Aye.
Dave.
No.
You just want to stick around? Sorry. Dan.
Aye.
Great,
Chair says aye. We are adjourned at
Thanks, Dave.
7:33 p.m.
All right. Thank you guys.